Former IPID Head Robert McBride is expected to appear before the Ad Hoc Committee investigating allegations of criminal infiltration, corruption and political interference in the criminal justice system. Let's cross now to SABC News reporter Abra Barbier, who's there for us. Abra, good morning. So, anticipating quite an interesting session of the Ad Hoc Committee, especially waiting to hear from Robert McBride, whose name has come up in testimony from others who testified before the Commission.
Sakina, yes, good morning. Yes, it's going to be a very interesting day today as well as tomorrow because the former IPID head has been set down for 2 days. Of course, as you've mentioned, his name has come up quite often. Also a figure who we've heard about in the media quite a lot over the past few years in terms of his role as the IPID head, and then of course just his role in the criminal justice system as a whole since the start of this commission. But what happened yesterday, not the commission, sorry, the Ad Hoc Committee. Yesterday the committee, they sat to deal with housekeeping issues, and it was actually quite a long meeting. It was a 3-hour long meeting, and what I can tell you is, Sakina, based on what I heard yesterday, I'm not sure if this committee is going to complete its work by the 20th of February. Now, remember, this was the second extension given. They're supposed to finish the work by the 20th of February. They're hoping to be done with all the interviews and the questioning and the interrogation, including the public submissions, by around the 6th of February, after which they want to sit down and start compiling the actual report, which has to be submitted to Parliament. But as the meeting carried on yesterday, as the day went by, it just seemed like the list of people who are still to be called before the committee seemed to be growing. So as things stand, we have Robert McBride today, we have the suspended police chief from Ekurhuleni, the deputy police chief from Ekurhuleni, Mr. Julius Nkwanazi later this week. Brown Mogotsi's name is also still out there. Paul O'Sullivan, that's a whole other conversation that was had yesterday. Of course, Mr. O'Sullivan said he is concerned about a range of things, including his safety. And then, according to the committee, he also made disparaging remarks about Parliament and made comments about certain political parties that he doesn't want to work with. He doesn't want to actually speak with. And Parliament, the MPs were adamant that they have to deal with Mr. O'Sullivan, and it has to be in person, not a virtual meeting. And they were talking about asking Parliament to summons him, with some committee members from the EFF and the Action SA actually expressing shock that the summons proceedings for Mr. O'Sullivan have not begun yet. And then what other MPs also raised, now remember we had public submissions last year. There was a deadline for members of the public to send their input into the work of the committee if they had anything to add or to say. And that deadline closed, and the committee then had to determine Sakina, yeah, so they're going to be dealing with that today. And also we're going to be hearing more about what's happening with the public submissions and when that's going to be dealt with. Sakina?
Abra, we'll catch up with you in the next hour for more on what was discussed yesterday, but a whole range of issues and all of it important. And as you say, it's going to be interesting to see whether the committee is able to do its work or how far they will get. Abra Barbier for us in Parliament.